Hey guys, Tech Timmy here. So growing up in a suburb of Boston, all that we really ever saw by way of birds were pigeons, crows, and maybe the occasional blue jay or two. However, since moving to the coast here, I have a newfound appreciation for the variety and different types of our fine feathered friends. That's why today I'm excited to get this HIXX Aura smart bird feeder out of the box, get it set up, and take a first look. So without further ado, let's get into the unboxing. Let's go!
Oh boy, it's Tech Timmy time.
Alright guys, so here we are over at the unboxing station, and I took a few notes for you guys here. I don't know if I'm going to need my unboxing knife for this. It looks like this might be an easy open, but I really look at the package. It's a large package, so a little bit of a different angle here today, but the box is nice, really well done. And one of the cool things about 2.5K Ultra HD is the camera. So that's actually pretty sharp if you want to count bird feathers or whatever. I think it'll allow you to do that. So that's kind of cool. And then there's some info here. Again, this is a large box. It's going to be kind of hard to show you. Some info here about the Coolfly app. And my understanding is that's who actually sent me this to try. So thank you to the folks at Coolfly for sending this out. Very cool. I noticed the brand name on here is HIXX. So maybe that's the name of the bird feeder and Coolfly is the app. And I'm sure that they work in conjunction with, I actually know that they work in conjunction with each other. And there's a whole birding community as part of the app, which I also think is kind of cool. You can share your photos with other birders and they can share them with you and all that. So that's fun. And then as I said, so AI powered bird AI, or you want to be an AI birder. I don't really have the patience to use. I know that there are some apps you can do with your phone where you can actually point the app at the bird and stuff like that. I've actually tried that and kind of hit or miss. I'm really excited to have this more sort of passive thing where they push the different types of birds at me. And there's a lot of them here where I live on the ocean here. I like tons and tons of different varieties of birds. I'm kind of excited to actually be able to identify them and know what they are. And then, yeah, you can do some editing in the video and so forth before you send it off to your family and friends. And then here, just a little bit more in terms of what's on the box. Customizable dual view. We'll look at that in a second. You can actually position the camera in a couple of different ways. See the whole yard. Middle squirrel guard. And I guess the idea there is if the squirrel's going to have a harder time getting his mouth in there, then the bird would get his beak in there, I guess. And then the movable hopper, and then solar roof, which is awesome. So solar power is worth its weight in gold here. And like I said, I took a few additional notes. I think that is mostly what we're going to talk about in terms of specs today. I'm not going to get too deep or technical here. Get these other instructions for my last unboxing out of the way here. There we go. All right. I'm not going to get too deep or technical, and I'm not going to do a heavy edit to this video. We're basically going to get it out of the box, see what we have for parts, and get it, and see if we can get it assembled, at least the base model here. I don't think I'm actually going to set this up outside today, but if you guys are interested in me doing a future video, drop a comment down below and I will do that. And I also plan to do a little bit more of a thorough review once I get this set up outside and we start getting takers. It looks like documentation on right on the top here. That's nice. Smart bird feeder. I like to rifle the documentation. All right, so here is all what's in the box. Wow, and they give you a ton of different accessories here and so forth. So there is going to be some assembly required. I think in order to prevent this video from going too long, what I'll do on the assembly part of it is I will fast forward through the process and go slower on any parts where you might potentially get tripped up. But I will actually get this thing together as part of this video. So let's actually jump in here and see what we have. All right, and just real quick, I just want to really just come down here. All right, we have solar panel roof, perch, a jelly feeder. So if some birds like jelly, I guess. Bird feeder, horizontal mount, fruit fork. They thought of everything. A mini hummingbird feeder if you want to put the hummingbird nectar. That's really cool. So you can attract hummingbirds as well as other types of birds as well. So different birds like different types of food, I guess. So that's the idea there. We have our high resolution camera, pole mount adapter. So I'm wanting to put this on a pole. Basically, I have a view of the ocean from where I live here, and my thought was I would put it basically right on the shoreline on a pole. I think that'd be really cool, and I can look at it from my home office here. Mounting bracket and this quick start guide. Just take a quick gander at the documentation here, because documentation looks excellent. I love the fact that it's not the little tiny documentation, little type, lots of diagrams. It looks like a really good document. So let's get the goods out here. You can tell I'm probably pretty excited about this. It's funny because growing up in the city, you don't really appreciate nature really all that much at all until you happen to move somewhere, go on vacation, whatever, somewhere where you get to experience more of it. And I've been doing a lot of that here. Do a little walking. There's lots of birds. So this is the solar panel, and that looks really solid. This looks like this looks like a really good solar panel. And here we have our connections and so forth. So we'll take a look at that in a second. All right, it's wall mount screw positioning sticker. So they even thought of that. So this will help you if you're installing the wall mount. And there's a variety of other mounting hardware in here as well, right? As we just saw. So here's a wall mount, and this I could potentially have a pole on my deck. If I wanted to go that route, I could actually basically install this onto the pole, and I believe the bird feeder would sit there. And then there's additional part of it in this other box here as well. So that may be the unwanted friend protector or the squirrel thing, where again, birds can get their beaks through there, but the squirrel probably can't get his mouth in there. And the bird feeder itself is here, and it seems super well packaged. I'm gonna back the box up over here. And before we look at the bird feeder itself, let's take out some additional, see what else we have for just, wow. So they really did think of quite a bit. So here's the camera itself, has some nice weight to it, and it's got a plastic outer feeling, but it feels really solid. This actually feels nice. We'll do a peel in a second here. Well, and this, I believe, is a little water tray, or I think they said nectar or something. Again, different types of birds, but basically, I'll probably put water in there. And that way, if they want to take a drink while they're having their little bird snacks, they can do that too. Okay, we have additional mounting hardware. I mean, wow, guys. I mean, they really thought of everything. This, I believe, is the Hummingbird feeder. So you can put, and I believe the hummingbirds will put their beak in there if you throw the hummingbird food in there. I think they like some sort of nectar or something. Can't really remember, but there's that. And then we have our additional pieces as well. The feeder, this is probably the mount for the camera and so forth. And this is the fruit fork. So if you have birds that fruit, maybe put a couple little pieces of fruit on there. And then if they want to, maybe they're healthy birds, that they like to eat fruit, right? Instead of just all seeds. All right, now let's get the main event out here next. And again, super well packaged. They did a really nice job with the packaging here. I do a lot of unboxings, and this is up there for sure. Oh, wow, look at this. Looks really nice. Hold on to that bit. And then, so all right. So here is the bird feeder itself. I love the color. Of course, we need to get all of our parts on here to get the full experience. There's a tray that comes out, which I believe that's where the food lands in there, right? Makes it super easy to clean. And then open and close. Oh, I see. Open and close. So if you want to close the restaurant, there you go, right there. And then this is where, so this is probably the housing. So this comes out as well. And then, I guess. But we'll take a close look at that in a second as I get it set up. And like I said, I'll go on fast forward for that, but I will pause at any part and I'll also give you guys tips as we go through for getting this set up at your own home. And again, I'm not going to mount this today, but if you're interested in seeing that separate mount video, I can do a separate one on that. So this is going to go here. And then, oh wow, here is all of our additional hardware. So I was wondering where this part of it is. So this is their perch, right? So this is where the birds are going to sit or stand or whatever birds do, I don't know. And then here is where the camera will go as well. So I believe we have two different options here and here. But I'm going to get all this set up, and again, I'll go on fast forward for that part so this video doesn't go super long, but super encouraging, guys. And this looks like a really well thought out product and camera. I really like that a lot. We have some additional hardware here. So these are probably mounting screws of some type. Yep, so that's going to allow us to make our different connections. We have a USB-C connector. So they've got the latest USB on that. And then another USB-A to USB Type-C connector. So that's probably to charge it up if you want to start using it before it goes 100% solar. And then we have our mounting hardware as well. So wow, they really thought of everything, guys. So all right, I'm going to just do a little bit of quick housekeeping here, and then I'll go on fast forward and we will get this puppy assembled. I will leave the mounting hardware, I think, out of the assembly for now, but so let's go. Let's get this bad Larry set up. Tweet. All right, I figured we would do the first two steps for assembly together, assembling your bird feeder, and just to kind of kick things off. I know I said I would fast forward it, but this does take a little bit of finagling to get this set up right. So let's actually go ahead and do these first couple steps together, and then I will fast forward anything that if it seems super simple and so forth. But all right, so what we want to do first, take this guy. So that's our metal bird seed guard, right? Metal bird seed guard. and that just fits in there. There's two little levers there, and you push it in and it snaps right down. So that piece is really easy. Now on this one, so this basically fits right inside the lip here, but it needs to be, it's got to be installed just so. So you push that in like that, and then down here you can see there's a hole in the front where this guy goes as well. And basically they say to just push down firmly on that. I would say be careful because this bit is plastic and you don't want to break it because then it shows over, right? All right, so the trick with this bit, install the front piece first and then push these two down and they should just lock into place here. And they did, right? So they're in the back. But then we have one of our, they call it a hand screw, which I assume to be one of these guys. And that's gonna go right down the bottom here. And we're gonna turn it with our hand, hopefully, hence the name hand screw. So hold that down firmly and then it'll allow you to insert the screw. And then we want to give that, it doesn't really twist all that much, but we want to make sure it's locked in nice. All right, so we're gonna lock it in. There we go. So that's locked in nice and tight there now. It seems pretty solid. All right, so that is step 1 and 2. And now the next step is to install our solar powered roof, solar panel, and it looks like this little gazinta needs to go in the back here, and then these two little guys here go into the openings here. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, and I'm not sure if you saw what I did there, but I had to really firmly press it in now. Just say be careful. Make sure that the little gazintas here are lined up just so that they don't break when you do the install. But I did have to really kind of give it a good firm press. And now, even without the camera, we're starting to look pretty stylish here. These birds, this is going to be like the Bird Marriott, the local hangout, I think here. I think birds that are not hanging out here are going to be pretty jealous, if I'm being honest. All right, next we're going to install the camera. All right, guys, so here we are in the home stretch here, and I thought I would just pull out the document here to show you the camera installation part of this, because it's important. There's two different ways that you can mount this thing. You can basically mount it like that, which they call vertical mounting mode. But vertical mounting means that you're going to see a horizontal image in the app, which I'm guessing that is not as nice. If you want to see the birds up close and large, I would say you're going to want to see the birds vertical in the app. So they have an option for that as well. So that's this one here, and the camera's heavy, so it offsets the thing. So they have an option for that as well, and you basically use this doohickey here in order to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up. On this part, I am going to fast forward. It's super straightforward. So basically what we want to do is we want to install this to the camera first. So this is what we're going to do. Install this to the camera first. So this goes here, I believe, like that. And then we can install this to there. So it's going to look like that. And then you're going to be able to sort of angle the camera. You're going to want it here, so you can angle the camera at the birds like so. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do that on fast forward here, and we'll get this done. Oh, and then the other hand screw goes up through the bottom, obviously. All right, I'm gonna do that right now. All right, so camera install complete. As you can see, we have our camera lens pointing at the spot where the birds are gonna be. And I think we're able to actually rotate this over a little bit, or if you loosen that screw, you're gonna be able to turn that to get the adjustment just the way that you want it. And now the bird feeder is gonna be a little topsy-turvy because this guy's heavy and it's not well balanced on the other side, but that will all be resolved when you go to mount it. The last step in the process here is going to be installing the cable, and that should be super easy. So we're going to want to use the shorty one here. So USB-C to USB-C. And it's kind of interesting. So if you plug this in here, like so, And then I don't really have patience when it comes to stringing these things through. I'm gonna give it my best shot. But what's really cool is so solar comes in here and keeps the camera charged while it's on the feeder, which is just really, really just wonderful engineering in my opinion. All right, let's thread this through here as elegantly as I can. And voila, so that is the final step in terms of getting the bird feeder itself running. Now your Hummingbird guy, I think that goes either like that, or maybe, no, I think it does this. So that'll just sit over here, just like that. You're gonna need to put the food inside there, obviously. Food goes in there as well. But so that, guys, is the unboxing and assembly of the HIXX Aura smart bird feeder that works with the Coolfly app. Now on the app itself, I'm not going to download that here. It should be super straightforward, guys. You basically just need to download the app, set it up, create an account, and then it will automatically connect to this guy and connect to your camera as well. If you're interested in seeing more on that or a demo or any of that stuff, let me know. I will plan to do some follow-up videos on this in the future, as well as we'll film a mounting video when I mount it to the pull-out side. And then at that time, I think I will also probably film the app video and additional setup, as well as a review of this guy once I get it set up and we have some takers, like I said. But hope this video helped you guys. If it did, please mind smashing that like button. Helps out the channel a lot. YouTube thinks you might like one of these other videos I'm gonna put up on screen here. And please subscribe for a fun take on tech. And I hope you enjoy your bird feeder and you have as much enjoyment, get as much enjoyment out of it as I think that I am going to here. I literally cannot wait to get this set up. In fact, I'm gonna go order that pole over on Amazon right now. Speaking of Amazon, I will also drop a link to this down below in the description. It's an affiliate link, and if you use it, all proceeds go to support the channel. Anyhow, hope to see you guys in the next one. Cheers.